The issue at hand here is primarily one about a question as to whether the government has the authority or the right to take something valuable from the Stalo people and give it to another group of people who we refer to quite accurately as Stalo as well. I think the comparison I'd like to use is like we have through history passed on rights in this fishing area because as owners of the territory pass on rights through the family. And I think to try and explain it is if you had an heirloom, a valuable heirloom that you passed on through generations, through to your family, to your children, to have an outside organization as a government come along and take that heirloom and say, no, you can't pass that on anymore. We're giving it to a relative of yours to keep and to have and to basically, if you want to see it, you have to talk to them.
The problem is that we have one particular Indian band who wants to have total control over the area we're talking about, the Fraser Canyon. And if they have control over this particular territory, it means that the families who have been coming up here for generations are going to be excluded from carrying on with the practices that they've been doing for years and years. The governments, in their wisdom, are trying to make treaties that are going to impact quite heavily on other people. And as I was mentioning, Yale are Stalo, and the government will try to impose this treaty and exclude Stalo from their area. That's not right.
In the last couple of years has been hard to get fish. And my family's so busy with sports and school and other activities where we try to make time to fish. And if that's taken away from us, I don't know what my family would do. I think my family's been very respectful in the areas that we fish, and we've never had any confrontations with any Stalo fishermen.
We have a situation here where the First Nations community, Indian community of Yale, has attempted throughout the years physical confrontations with Stalo people up in the canyon here over fishing sites, have attempted through two separate court actions to try and convince the courts that they have rights, and both times have failed. And now they see the treaty process as their last opportunity to try and gain control over an area, exclusive control over an area, essentially that has been used by the Stalo since time immemorial.
Not only is it an important place to the Stalo, but it's especially important to myself because my great-great-great-grandfather, Sakhiltil, is buried in the cemetery up there. My great-great-grandfather, Captain Charlie, he was also born at this place, and he had made his way down, moved downriver down towards Ruby Creek. Well, we're always going to retain our Aboriginal rights and title to this area. I mean, we may have restricted access to this place, but we're going to continue. We want to continue coming up here. I don't know what sort of how the restrictions are going to impose on my use of that area, because that's where I fish, right across over there, right where my great-great-grandfather was born. I've been fishing there for quite a few years now, and I want to come back there. And I know if they get their way, they're not going to give me permission. Because they seem to be giving some sort of gatekeeper looking after this place, saying we need to get permission from them. And I know for sure they're not, because I've already had experiences with them where they've kicked me out of their band office and different things like that. So.
Well, the treaty process faces the reality of getting a black eye over this situation, because they're walking through dangerous precedent waters by suggesting that another Stalo First Nations Indian Act band could step in and lay claim to territory where there's a collective right that is going to be ignored. And by doing this, they're going to create conflict, uncertainty, and nobody's going to win. And that's not essentially what the treaty process was set up to do. You've got 66 people who voted in favor of a treaty for Yale that'll essentially rob or steal the rights of a collective group of almost 10,000 Stalo people. And there's something fundamentally flawed with that. And I can't see for the life of me as to why the government doesn't recognize the problem.
So one of the things that has to happen is that the governments really have to take a good look at their mandates that they use for negotiating treaties. It's got to reflect a nation of people rather than working on a band basis. So that's one of the things that the governments have to do. And if they don't do that, we are going to end up in court. And it's going to take us probably about, I would say, 7, 8, 9 years to go from the Supreme Court of British Columbia to the Supreme Court of Canada. And in that process, it's going to cost us anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. That's from our side. And it's going to cost the provincial government and the federal government a lot more than that because they have a lot more resources available to them. Right now, it's just expedient for them to say that they're going to sign a treaty with Yale, and Yale is a very small band in terms of the larger Stala population. And that's not right, where 66 individuals from the Yale who are eligible to vote are going to impact on 6,000 to 10,000 Stalos. It's not right.